Coach, another signing day, another exciting day, kicking off the 2022 season, if you will. Just talk about the excitement you have for today's signing class.
Yeah, this is probably my 24th or 25th signing class that I've been through as a coach, and every year it gets better and better. Being able to see these young men fulfill a dream of being a college athlete. I think it's one of the most overlooked things. These kids are getting a chance to be something that's, separating themselves from a lot of other people. Being able to call themselves a college football player, and so it's always an exciting day, especially for the kids and the families, and and the coaches as well. And so really our work starts now of kind of penciling these guys in our depth chart and looking and see where we can, have these guys come in and do some things for us in the fall. And so, anytime you're able to get new faces in your program, it's always an exciting day.
Well, Coach, let's talk about some of these signees we have today, and start here with some of the more local kids. Talk about a few of the highlighted local kids here that we were able to pick up.
Yeah, we really went out and tried to sign every position this year, just like you would every year. I mean, we're going to lose guys, at every position. And so we always going to start with quarterback. Felt like we got one of the most talented quarterbacks, not only around the North Mississippi area, but pretty much the state, in Red Parker from Houston. Brings a different dynamic to the game. The way things are nowadays, you look at pro football, the way things are going there. I mean, you've got to have athletic guys, that can throw the ball, run the ball, and so we think he brings a great 1-2 punch to our offense, being able to, losing Dylan. Had Dylan over here for 3 years, and we felt like we had to get us a quarterback, in our class, and so went after one quarterback and got him. That was the main thing that we want to do, and we feel like he's going to be a great asset to our program. Not only a great football player, but a great young man. Then looking in the backfield, keeping it there with running backs. We got a couple there that we had to fill some holes there at that position, because you always want to look at. You want to have four. That's always kind of been our philosophy. We want to have four backs. Just in the fact of four guys that can be interchangeable. So if you want to go to a two-back set, you've pretty much got four guys that you can trade in. And plus special teams. That's one of the positions that we do use those guys a lot in special teams, and so those guys are pretty much multidimensional. We got Roger Patterson there from Nettleton, which had a great career over there for Coach Keith and did a really good job for them for 3 years over there. So we're excited about getting him in there, power lifter guy. So he's got a body, that's going to be college ready. And that's the biggest thing with all these guys. It's you look at, you kind of project as a coach, you're kind of seeing where they're going to be, and, then being able to look and see, kind of what these guys can do for you and everything. So that's really the exciting part. Got Traylon Oliver as well out of Olive Branch. He brings a little bit different dimension as well. We've got Jamal Brooks returning there, and so he's kind of been our bigger back, as you'd say. Kind of our guy that we got to get the 1 and 2 yards. We're going to give it to him, but we feel like Oliver's kind of a home run hitter for us, and so it was really good to kind of get that balance between him and Patterson there to kind of give us a little bit of mixture in our backfield. Because you don't want to have the same type of guy. You want to have some different body sizes, and they can do some things, catching the ball out of the backfield and that type thing. And so, really excited to get those guys for sure. Looking at receivers, that's really a position that we did have a lot of needs to fill. We had a lot of guys that had played football for us here and that moved on with their careers, and so it was very important to get some receivers here. We got Khalil McShann there from Pontotoc. He's a 6'3" kid. Got real long body guy, and that's what you always look for at that outside receiver position. A guy that can match up and go win you the deep ball down the sideline, and a great young man, comes from a great program in Pontotoc that we're really excited about getting him on campus. Then you look at Amarian Guyton there from Shannon. He's a speed guy. He did a lot of things for Coach Carter over there at Shannon, and we're hoping he can come in and step in and fill a huge need for us. At those positions. and then you kind of go down the list here, and you look at we were able to pick up Caleb McCoy there from Northwest Rankin. Had a really good contact with some coaches down that way, and he's another big body guy. He's a 6'3" guy that that can come in and give us that outside threat as well. And so when you look at those guys there, that can give you that outside threat, because Amarin's kind of a move around guy. But another guy I was excited about getting was Zay Davis. If you look at the last couple of football seasons, we had a guy named Quay Davis, and that's Quay's younger brother. And he's a guy that we feel like that can do multi things for us in the receiving game as well as the return game, and give us that extra speed factor that you got to have at that position. Had a great career at Biggersville. Very very important part of their team. And their success that they had up there, and so we're excited about getting those guys. And then Keyshawn Sessom out of Olive Branch. And he's kind of the guy that we went out and looked at, as a guy that can do a lot of things for us. And so, you look at those 5 receivers there that we was able to pick up. I think they all bring something to the table that are different in their skill set, And so, Coach Cameron's going to have a great young nucleus to work with, that's going to go out there and do great things for us, when the fall season rolls around. So we're excited about getting those guys. Look at our tight ends. That's one thing that we've never really had that here. We've kind of had a makeshift guy. I'd probably say Chris Long back in the 17 season, 16 and 17 was probably the truest tight end guy we've had. We've kind of used different bodies there over the years, but we really want to go out and find some long body guys that can play on the ball, that can stretch the field vertically in the passing game, but you can use them in the flats, and you can coming across the middle, and so kind of creating mismatches, and so we were able to pick up James Scott out of South Panola. He's a 6'4" guy, 200 pounds, so you look at the size like, well, is he a prototypical tight end? But if you look at the way we look at college football and pro football, it's all about those matchups. You get a bigger guy on a linebacker safety, you create a lot of mismatches. So we felt like he was a guy that can come in, did a great job in South Panola over there for their program over the years. And so anytime you get guys like that, especially playing those upper level classification football, that they've been through the fire and been through the mix, and so the transition to our level is not going to be as big. Kind of dip down into the south part of the state. I think he's probably our farthest signing we had was Tony Johnson out of Bay Springs. Bay Springs had a great run this year, really successful program. And looking for tight ends are hard. That's one thing that we kind of scoured the state for. Everything now is kind of going to 4 receiver sets and this type thing. So it's hard to really find those guys. Sometimes you might look for a different person that maybe it's a 215 that can maybe grow into that position, but we wanted somebody ready now, and we felt like Tony brings a big physical presence. He's a 6'3", 6'4" guy, 230 pounds right now, and so looking at him possibly being in here a 250-pound guy, 260-pound guy by the time he leaves. And so, anytime you can create those mismatches there in that part of it, and then we was able to get Preston Ward out of Baldwin. Preston's kind of a unique guy because he was an offensive lineman, but he is a really, really tall guy. He's a 6'5" guy that played offensive line there at Baldwin for Coach Gray. And, and the thing that I looked at him was, here's a guy that's a very, very lengthy person, 240 pounds or so, and so kind of hard to look at him as an O-lineman with that weight, but you transition him out to that outside position as a tight end. Then you look at the fact of, hey, that we got a pretty big tight end right there. So going to have a little bit of transition as far as his development there as a tight end, but basically just moving him one gap over from offensive tackle to tight end, and we feel like he can give us some depth there too. So that was really important for us to kind of do that in the offensive skill set side of it this year. Was able to get some really good O-linemen. We feel like those are the most sought after positions in the state. I think you could put a commodity on those guys because everybody's looking for them. Everybody wants them. Everybody's got to have them. And we felt like going. We went around the state here, looking for the best guys, and not only the best guys, but the best guys that kind of fit what we want to do. And so we was able to get Landon Trusty there out of Grenada. Comes from a great program. We've always had really good success with the Grenada kids. They've really done a good job for us over the years, have come here and played a lot of ball for us. And so he's going to bring a physical presence inside at the center position for sure. We also got another Sapanola kid, Zamarian Tucker there. That played a lot of football up there for Coach Woods, and he's a battle-tested guy, for sure. He was in the North-South game there, and so shows you really what the coaches around the state, thought about him. Was able to go down to Cleveland Central and get Breland Sanders out of Cleveland Central. Big body guy. He's a 300-pounder plus guy, and so we felt like we was really looking for guys that are girthy inside. When you look what we got to block week in and week out, you better have some size to match up what they're going to have to block. And we felt like that, he was a guy that would fill a huge role for us with losing Buddy Ballman out of Shannon and Javante Woodall out of Grenada, 2 3-year starters for us, in that position. And so we felt like that we had to get a guy that could come in and play for us, next year for sure, to fill one of those guard spots that was vacated by those guys. And then we was able to get Mason Holmes out of Olive Branch as well. He's another tackle type of body, which is pretty much what everybody's looking for. You got to have length on the edges to be able to block those guys on the defensive end spots. And so, felt like it was really important. Got a lot of O-linemen back, but we knew we had some holes we had to fill there at the O-line position. So I felt like we did a really good job of being able to get some quality kids, on the offensive side for sure.
Okay, well, let's talk a little about that defense since you covered the offense there. Just talk about some of these guys that you were able to get to help fill those defensive needs.
Yeah, you kind of look at the biggest part of our team that was lost. You look at defensive line, you look at linebackers, really defensive backs as well. I mean, we had a lot of guys back there that played a lot of football for us. You look at Peyton Ray, a third-year guy that played 3 years for us. Ralph Dunn out of Pontotoc was a 3-year guy. Corey Hooper out of North Pontotoc was a 3-year guy. Demontre Bell, Breon Jordan, who could have come back, signed out after his second season and moved on with his college career, and so you look at the losses that you had. You look at Tyreek Howard and Jaquan Lott. I mean, a lot of guys that played a lot of football for us, and so we're going to be really, really young at that position. We don't have a lot of returning guys on that defensive side, and so these guys that we've signed are going to be very, very important for us to come in and pick up our scheme and be able to get on that field early, because we got to have them ready to go. Just kind of looking at the D-line position, we was able to get Romero Hampton out of Tupelo. Big defensive tackle, very explosive off the ball. He was also a North-South Bernard Blackwell participant there, and we felt like that he's a guy that can come in as a little bit different type of player than what we played with. We had Tyreek Howard, a 300-plus guy, Jaquan Lott. I mean, and Romero's around that 280, but got a lot of good ball get off, and so we're excited about getting him on our football team and watching him create havoc for the next 2 years for us. I was able to go down to Calhoun City, get Jaquez Tucker out of Calhoun City, another big body guy, 6'3", 280, defensive lineman there, and so those were going to be really 2 positions. Inside especially, we had to make sure that we were placed. And then we was able to get Quintavis Morris out of UPOR, another defensive end guy, 6'4" guy. And so, the good thing I think that the first haul of our D-line that we got today was a lot of length, and that's one thing that we look for. We want to go out and try to get us some length in the building there, and so I think we've helped ourselves, in that regard. Looking at the linebacker position that I coach, lost a lot of production. You look at the guys that I mentioned there before, that played for us, played for me, and so so it's very important that I was able to get some guys there. You look at our first guy that out of Amory, played for them, took him to the state championship, Jarquez Ivy. Really explosive guy, not a big guy. That's one thing that that I really concentrated on this year was finding some speed. That's one thing. Nowadays in football, you gotta have guys who can run, especially in that second level at that backer position with as many screens and outside run plays and speed sweeps, you better have guys who can get out on that edge. And I think that's one thing that he brings to the table. He kind of reminds me of Keaton Cager in that regard. Keaton was also another third-year guy that had signed out of here from Tupelo that, gave me a lot of mileage, gave this football team a lot of mileage over the years. And so he's kind of hoping I'll come in and be able to use him as I did Keaton. Keaton was our blitz guy up the middle and off the edge. And so we feel like, Jarquez can be able to do that. Went down to East Webster, got Kobe Smith out of East Webster. He was a north-south guy. Bernard Blackwell, a participant as well. He's an outside backer, that had a lot of production for those guys, for Coach Price down there at East Webster over the years. And, he's a guy that brings a lot, athleticism out there. He's a guy that will play to the field and be able to use him in some situations as sometimes a cover guy, a blitz guy, those type things. Was able to go up to Horn Lake, grab a couple guys out of Horn Lake up there for Coach Harville and Dontavius Allen and Phil Oliver, 6A linebackers there. And, Dontavius is kind of more of an outside backer type of guy, looking for him to come in and replace Breon Jordan there at his position. And, Phil's a guy that played inside for us. He's about 215 pounds and feel like he can do multiple things for us. He can play the strong side backer, weak side backer. And so I'm really excited about getting those guys here and working with them and growing them as a player. And then our last one at backer we got there was from Caledonia. Had a great year down there this year for Coach Kelly, Darquez Williams. He's kind of a guy that's very intriguing to me when I watched his tape and watched him play. Them being in our district over the years, and so I've been able to watch these guys, over the years. And he's a guy that they played on the hash some, and he's been moved around, and I thought that was one of the intriguing things about him because. It's kind of looking at Antonio Thompson. Last year when we signed Antonio, he was a safety. He played safety and linebacker. And you saw this year he was a big play guy for us. I mean, he had interceptions and takeaways and sacks. And so I saw a lot of Darquez's skill set just like I did out of Antonio. And so anytime you can get linebackers that have played multiple things and have moved around, and so you feel like that you can adjust your defensive scheme to suit the kids' skill level. And so that's one thing that I looked at, when we went after the linebackers there. Was able to get 4 defensive backs this year. Got two really good safeties. Got one from Oxford, E.J. Wadley there that did a great job for Oxford High School over there. Once again, another high-level 6A football player there that he's a 6-foot guy, 185 pounds, and so we hope he'll come in and fill some of those roles there with where we lost with Peyton Ray, and then we was able to go down up to DeSoto Central and get Troy Sims. He's another long body guy, that played a lot of multiple roles up there for Coach Ford and those guys, and so felt like those 2 guys are going to come in and fill a great need for us that we had, and then we got Newton County, Corey Hardaway, that is another long guy. He's a 6'1" body, and then we went down to Columbus there. Mike Mosley, return guy, interceptions, returns, played corner, played safety, played nickel, and so we wanted to make sure we had some guys there that we can move around. We still got Jadarius Steen back for us, Dominique Taylor, and so we felt like we needed a guy that can come in and be that third corner for us. When we go to a dime or nickel situation, and we can bring in a cover guy. So we felt like Mike was a guy that that could come in and fill that role for us. And so. If you kind of look at our overall deal, I think we signed 26. Now, this is kind of the first wave. You look at signing date for junior college. Our signing date is never closed until that August kickoff. And so, but it was a great first start, for us to be able to get some quality young men. And that's the thing, too. I think that, one thing that we try to go out and look for is really good young men, that are going to bring a lot to our program, not only on the football field, but in the classroom and in the community. And, and I've told all of them, when we brought them on visits, what is our, what's my hardest job is to be able now to mold, brand new players with our old players, in a very, very short amount of time, and so it's going to be important for us to get that mix, because this is one of the biggest classes that we've had in a while. You go back to 2020, I think we had 12, signees, and then last year was a pretty big class, and so you got a little bit of a mixture there. But being able to get some new faces in the program, we feel like it's a great first start for us. We'll still be searching for a couple guys here and there, to fill a couple more spots. This is one thing that I always try to do is hold a few spots here, because there's some guys out there that maybe today didn't really get what they wanted, and so we'll keep searching for those guys, and also finish out our team with out-of-staters. And that's one thing that we do have some really good talented players back. Sangren's back again for another year for us. We got Eric Watts back, who did a great job for us last year, and so we feel like that we've got a good core of kids here now, that are working out with us, and we got Jalen Rush on the D-line, and Zykevius Moore there, and so we've got some really good players that are still here, and the greatest thing now is the time we get now as coaches to put on, to put emphasis on our kids that are here now. During that month of January, we're kind of in and out and everything, but now we kind of get to put our focus on our team that are here now and get them ready to, towards spring football and those type things.
All right, Coach. Well, lastly here, just give me a quick wrap-up of how pleased you and the coaches are with how signing day has went today and how you were able to fill those needs.
Anytime you look at the time that's spent, being on the road especially, and the rules are different. We don't get the opportunities to be in front of these kids a lot face-to-face. You only get so many, face-to-face contacts per week, and so you got to make yourself count. I think it was Coach Cook had went up to a school or whatever and said, look, I've only got X amount of days I can come see you, and you think, well, 7 or 8 times, that's a lot, and then you look up and it becomes once. And so a lot of work over the months, of seeing kids, going to schools, going to home visits, seeing, then bringing them on campus and all those things. And so, you're always excited because you feel like you've got, it's kind of like getting paid. You work hard toward the end of the month and you want to get a nice check, and so do we know we're going to get paid off of these guys with a great check? Time will tell. That's going to be hard. That's the hardest thing we cannot do is give these new guys experience, and so anytime you're able to get guys in your program, especially with 14 of us playing football here, it's a hard recruiting that we have to go through in this state. Everybody's after everybody's going to be after a lot of the same players, and so you've got to put yourself ahead of what you can sell about your program and about yourself as a coach, and so there's a lot that goes into it, and then behind the scenes, a lot of times people just think, well, it's you go pick people up, you bring them on campus, but there's a lot of behind the scenes that goes on with our sports information department of helping us recruit as well, with our photo shoots and videos. And, I don't know how many times that I got more texts or calls. When can I get my video? When are they going to release that? And so, not only the coaching staff, but our people that support us, Miss Sylvia and Coach Ball working on scholarships, and it's just a lot that goes into recruiting more than people understand. It's definitely a team effort. It is a team effort, especially we come on campus and our academic center there, and we go around to the dorms and we go to the cafeteria, and so everybody has a part in all these kids. Not just the football coaches, and so I think that's one thing. A lot of times you looked at it it's a group effort. When we go through tours, we're talking to the basketball coaches and the baseball coach, and then we're talking to all of them. Because I want our kids to feel like that. Hey, this is how it's going to be here. Not because you're here today on a visit, but this is how it always is. You're going to feel like that. You come to a place where you're going to be welcome every day, and I think that's one of the big selling points about Itawamba Community College is our facilities, number one, and it's our people, and I'd probably flip that. I'd probably put people one, facilities part two, just because of the way things are run here all the way from the top with Dr. Allen all the way to the bottom, and I think we've got a great selling point here with our school, and so we're excited for this first day.
Well, Coach, congrats on another successful signing day, and look forward to see how the 2022 season plays out.
Thank you.